We're going to do a plug-and-play remote starter installation on a 2009 Honda Fit. This Honda Fit did not originally come equipped with a keyless entry, but it does have power locks. So we're going to add the RFK 411 RF antenna kit to our system so that this vehicle will have full keyless entry at the end of the installation. This installation covers the 2009 through 2014 Honda Fit, the 2011 through 2016 Honda CRZ Hybrid, and the 2010 through 2014 Honda Insight. Now remember, if you're buying this kit for a hybrid, the listing has to specify hybrid, or the option for hybrid D4 will not be set on the module and it will not work. But they share an installation guide, these three vehicles. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the installation. Keep in mind, if you're doing the OEM activated remote starter, this video can still help guide you through the installation on all three of these vehicles. And I will be covering what to do if you have an OEM key fob and what doesn't have to be done if you don't have an OEM key fob. We're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to use a Phillips screw gun, and we're going to remove the 3 Phillips screws from the bottom of the steering column cover plastic. We're going to want to tilt the wheel up, pull it all the way out, and go ahead and lock it. With the 3 screws out, there's a seam on the side. We're going to apply pressure with our thumb. We're going to pop the cover plastic upward when we do this. We're going to use a plastic tool. So we're going to apply pressure, and then we're going to use the tool to release the cover. This will allow us to pop the top up, and by doing that, the bottom will come off as well. And you see how it just came off on its own when we popped the top. So we'll unlock the wheel so we can get this out, and we'll go ahead and relock the steering wheel. We're going to be dealing with 2 plugs. We're going to be dealing with the ignition plug and the immobilizer plug. Ignition plug right here, and the immobilizer plug located right here. Now there's 2 plugs of the same color. We're going to make sure we have the one that has 7 pins on it and plugs into the bottom port right here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to unplug the ignition plug as well. There's a clip here. We're going to press the clip, and we're going to remove the plug from the ignition switch. So we have both of our plugs unplugged that we're going to be using, the ignition and the immobilizer. So to make things a little bit more comfortable, we're just going to remove some of this plastic that may or may not be in the way, but we'll go ahead and we'll remove it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to remove this little piece. Just going to flip it down, and we'll be able to pull it out of there. This piece comes down too, but I don't think that we're going to need to remove this, or it's going to benefit us in any way. So I'll give it a try. It's easy to take off. I'll take it off. We are going to take this piece off. There's a turn clip right here. We're going to turn it. We're going to drop this out. There's a push clip here, and we're just going to put a little pressure, wiggle it, and we'll get that little push clip to pop out. It does give us a little bit of room here if we're going to have to connect lock wires if we have an OEM activated remote start to keep the OEM remote working while the engine's running, but we will cross that bridge when we get there. We're going to go ahead and we're going to plug our T-harness into the vehicle's ignition switch. We're going to make sure that it locks. Then we're going to plug the vehicle's plug into the other side of our ignition T-harness. Now we're going to ground this black wire with a ground ring. If you have a self-tapping screw, you can go ahead and you can ground it right here, right there. If you don't have a drill, self-tapping screw, I'm going to show you another point that you can use. Steering column, terrible ground. We don't want to be on the steering column We don't want to have any interference with plastic. So I do see one spot I will show you where you can ground the unit if you don't have a drill. So we're up underneath the dash here, and if you look, you have this 10 millimeter right here. I've already loosened it. You can use this as a ground point. It's the structure of the vehicle. I don't really like that the stud is painted, but it is bottoming out on that bare metal bracket, which is bolted on another point as well. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our ground right here. We have our ground wire installed. We're going to continue on. We're going to install the immobilizer portion. We've already removed the green plug from the bottom. Some vehicles, this plug can also be white. So not necessarily. We're going by the location of where it is. So the color is kind of irrelevant. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to plug our immobilizer into the vehicle's immobilizer plug. And then we're going to plug the plug that we removed from the immobilizer plug originally into the other side of our T-harness. We're going to make sure all plugs lock, always. And now we can continue to programming our device. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do that. Okay, so we have our device. We have our RFK 411 antenna kit plugged in. We're ready to begin the pairing procedure. So we're going to need our key to the vehicle, and we're going to need both of our plugs off of the harnesses that we've already installed. We're going to locate the program button on the top of the Evo. We're going to hold this button with our thumb while we plug in our 6-pin power plug. We do this, the 3 lights on the front are going to begin to cycle. There's 3 colors. There's a red, a yellow, and a blue. So we want to release on a solid red light. So I'm going to give you a little example here of what happens when you hold the button and you plug in the plug. So like I said, the lights will begin cycling. We want to release on red. If we miss it the first time, we can release on the second time. If we make a mistake and we don't release on red, we're going to go ahead, we're going to unplug the 6-pin and we're going to redo the procedure. We want to release on red. It'll be the second light to illuminate. Release on red. Now with a solid red light, we want to be very conscious not to push the button when we're plugging in the remaining plugs into our device. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to plug what's called the 20-pin into the 20-pin port. Then we're going to plug the red plug in on the back side of the Evo, or the top again, adjacent to, or across from the button that we held down. Then we're going to plug in the white can plug adjacent to the red plug. Now, as long as we didn't touch the button, we should still have a solid red light. We're going to press and release the program button 2 times. 1, 2. We're going to have a blinking red light, and at this point we're going to place our key in the ignition and turn the ignition to the run position. We don't want to start the vehicle, we want to turn the ignition just to the run position. When we do that, the red light will flash. It will go out, the blue light will come on and flash rapidly. This is an indication that the programming is complete. We're going to shut the key off and remove it from the ignition. Okay, now it's time to connect a lock and unlock wire. Now you cannot connect these wires before you program the device. That's why I'm doing it in these steps. So if you're going to do this, follow the video, please. So we're looking for the lock and unlock wire. We have a job plan or an install plan that shows us exactly where it is. We're up under the dash, this driver's kick panel. We'll look straight up. Small green plug on the end. I'm going to show you exactly where it is close up. I get a lot of glare with this light, so I'm trying to keep it a little bit dim so you can see. It's the very last plug right here. I'm going to go ahead and unplug it. I'll make the connections and then I'll give you a close-up of the connections and where the plug is. So you're going to have a job schematic or a plan, an installation plan, and you're going to have a picture that looks like this. This is looking at this green plug from the back. So we're doing the fit, so we need the gray wire and the light blue wire. I'm going to show you where they are, and if you want to test them, which isn't a bad thing, because if you make these connections wrong, you will do damage to the unit. I don't know about the vehicle, but you'll definitely cook the unit. So we like to make sure that this part is done correctly. So a lot of different ways to make connections. We can strip and wrap the wires. We can do a lot of things. What I'm sending with the kit is what's called a posi tap. It's a 3-piece connector. To apply the posi tap, we're going to unscrew the posi tap bottom. We unscrew the bottom, you're going to have a piece with a groove, and then you'll have a piece that has a needle inside. A little hard to see. We're going to place this groove piece over the wire. We're going to screw it back together. The needle will pierce the wire, giving us a connection point. So we're going to start with a lock wire, which is light blue. We have it isolated. And again, I'm going to give you a close-up when I'm done. I just want to get through the tapping part. So we're going to go ahead and we've placed the groove piece over the wire, screw the posi tap back together. You don't have to crank them down crazy tight. Just snug them down. Make sure they don't cross thread. If they cross thread, the needle's not going to be in the center. When it goes down, it's going to miss the wire. So we're going to do the gray wire too, which is our unlock wire. And again, we're not cranking them down crazy. Now, we have the taps on. We have a collar now on the other end. This is where our incoming wire is going to go. We're just going to loosen the collar one turn. Each of them, both collars, one turn. We have 2 wires on our unit. We have a light blue and a white with black. We're going to unband them, and we're going to make our connections with the posi taps here. So we have our wires here. Just going to pull off the pre-stripped insulation pieces here, and again we're going to start with our blue wire. So we've got about 1/4 inch of wire here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to insert the blue wire into the opening at the collar. We're going to push it in. It's going to bottom out. Then we're going to just push it in a little deeper. Should go in deeper if it's right, and we tighten the collar. We have one connection made. Okay, so I'll dim this light a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to do our white wire with a black stripe. And we're going to do that to our gray wire. And we're going to tighten the collar. Okay, both of our lock connections have been made. We're going to go ahead, we're going to plug this plug back in, do a quick test, and then I will show you close up. Okay, we have a grounding style test light. It's just a regular test light with a light bulb in it and a ground clip. It's a 12 volt test light. It tests for 12 volts. So we're going to ground the clip here to the chassis. Now, this is where the confusion lies. A lot of people think that there is to be power on these wires when the doors lock or unlock. These are ground triggered or negative triggered locks. A ground signal will actuate the locks. So we're going to put our test light on the wire and listen to the doors actuate when we make contact with the conductor. You can hear the doors lock. There they are. Okay, so that's our lock wire. And then our unlock wire is right here. So these are the correct lock wires. I'll give you a close-up, and then I will show you how the system works. So if you look, you see exactly what plug I'm on, the very last plug, and there's our connections with our posi taps. Okay, so you can use the installation guide that you receive with it to make sure you're on the right wires. You can also do a test to double check. I'm going to continue on. There is an optional parking light connection. It's located at the plug behind the parking light slash directional or whatever it is over here. I'm going to go ahead and I'll unplug this and show you where the wires is located. Okay, we're looking at the plug from the back. We're going to be connecting to this gray wire located right here. You see we have the clip in the upright position. We're looking at it from the back. Match it up to your installation plan, and you will see that it's located at this gray wire right here. So if you're going to make the horn connection, there's a plug right here, top of the steering column. It's got a single brown wire. That is your horn wire. We're going to mount our antenna and run our cable. We've already peeled off the two-sided tape protector, and we've unplugged our RF642W from our unit. Cleaned a spot on the windshield where we're going to place the antenna. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go about an inch down, place the antenna where we want it. Now we will take the wire and we're going to straighten it out here. We're going to put our fingers under the headliner, just pull down a little bit. We don't want to kill the headliner by pulling down real hard. As we pull down, we're going to put the wire up in. We're going to feed the wire up in with our other hand. We're going to go all the way over till we get to the A-pillar. Okay, once we get here, we're going to use our plastic tool again. We're going to create a gap right here. We can get this up in the corner a little better. Now we'll create a gap right here. Get our wire in there. Do that. Going to pull off the gasket, the door gasket. Going to run our wire into there. Going to put it under the gasket while reapplying the gasket. We're going to go all the way down, and we're going to meet the unit down at the bottom. Pretty easy. We're outside the vehicle with our RFK 411. We're going to go ahead, we're going to lock the vehicle. We'll press the button one time and release to lock the doors. And if you look at the top of the windshield, we have the blue LED light blinking on the antenna that we mounted. That's a good deterrent, you know, when they're out robbing cars in your neighborhood, they'll see this blue light and assume you have an alarm. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to unlock the doors by pressing and releasing the button 2 times. As you can hear, the doors unlock. We're blinking our parking lights because we've connected them. We're going to go ahead and we're going to press and hold the button down for 3 to 5 seconds to activate remote start. Our runtime is set for 15 minutes. We can shut the vehicle off if we want to by pressing and holding the same button that activated the remote start, the only button actually. Pretty much that's it. The system is installed and everything's working great. This will give you keyless entry on your Fit. That did not come with keyless entry, but still has power locks. Now you could add two-way remotes or smartphone controllers. We did it this way to keep the price point lower. This is the entry-level system. You don't have a remote, so you need some type of remote. This is the best choice for the money. This will give you 2,000 feet of range, this antenna kit is about $59 if you were to buy it separately. We bundled it with everything you need to do this job. Take a look at the listing. If you want to get it, please order it. Thank you.